Phil, taking nothing away from Darlington, but was the other night a missed opportunity?
I think every time you play a game of football, it's an opportunity. People can say that you're top of the league, therefore you accept the plummets of being the best team in the league, but that only counts when it comes to the end of the season for me, where you've got 46 games, and if you're top, you've been the best team over that 46 game period. It's something we talked about to the group today. The opportunities that do come along are week in and week out, and now they're 2 games every week, and therefore they're coming Saturday, Tuesday, thick and fast. And back-to-back wins is normally a sign that teams are at the right end of the division because they're jumping places or you're on the way up. And we give Darlington every credit for the performance that they put in the other night. We've talked long and hard again today to the players about when opposition come and change tactics, can we change our style of play to a certain extent? And it's difficult at times, you know, when you're trying to exploit teams that can put a low block in, a medium block in, a high block in, teams that press you, teams that come to try and play against you and they're better footballing teams than you, teams that have got astroturf pitches, etc, etc. So there's all sorts of different ways of playing at this level. And on Tuesday night, having played some of the best football I've witnessed for a long time last Saturday, it was trying to get to that level again. And sometimes when you get to that level, it doesn't matter what the opposition do. So the opportunity to get at that level came along and we didn't actually achieve that. And I think that was the missed opportunity, that we didn't play anywhere near the standard of football that we played on the Saturday against Warrington. Unfortunately for Warrington, because they were on the end of it could have been a good hiding, to tell you the truth, but it was a 2-0 defeat and their manager went away with another manager that's gone away with the plaudits, that were the best team that they played. But Darlington probably came and prepared that they were going to be playing against the best team. And with that in mind, they were resilient and they were robust. And I thought they had better ball carriers than us on Tuesday night, and that was the opportunity for our ball carriers to exceed their ball carriers. And that's even without Jack Lambert. So in a long-winded way, Trevor, I would have probably agreed with you. Yes, it was a missed opportunity, but there's another one on Saturday.
Did it surprise you then that their ball carriers basically were better on the night than yours were?
Yes, because I've not once this season, and that's 33 games we played, including cup games, I've not once this season had to change the system because the ball carriers were causing us problems. Maybe somebody's came along with a better second ball team than us, or a more physical team than us. I go back to the Scunthorpe away, for instance, and you accept that to a certain extent, and you change the game plan to plan B, plan C, plan D, whichever the case may be. And then we went toe to toe with Scunthorpe back 5-6 games into the season, and finished the game probably stronger than them. And that's a team that everyone was talking about, that they were automatic promotion favourites, you know. And my hasn't that changed now, you know. I mean, I think, as I've said before, the table's been topped by 4 or 5 teams already this year, and probably will be again between now and the end of the season. Nobody's going to run away with it. So I've no illusions that we're going to run away with this division. I think it's too brutal, it's too hard, it's too difficult. But we will be a match, and we will give everybody a game, and there's no doubt in my mind we will be tactically aware of what the opposition can do against us. Starting with Saturday against Oxford City, AstroTurf again. We've trained at Droitwich on the AstroTurf to try and acclimatise myself to whatever is going to be thrown at us on Saturday, but they're playing a similar kind of system to us, and it could be a case of man against man. Win your battle, and if you win enough of them battles, you'll win the game of football. It could be a system versus system kind of game. It could be a tactician's game. But we've got to put right the wrongs of Tuesday night, and the wrongs on Tuesday night were, for the first time this season, or first time in a long time, we didn't actually turn up to the standards that we're used to.
And are the players sort of big enough to appreciate that? When you talk to them, do they hold their hands up and say, yeah, we weren't anywhere near where we should have been?
I think, Trev, the group that I've adopted here from the previous management team, and then added our own sprinkling of magic, if you like, or, you know, the footballers that we brought into the club, I think a very genuine, very honest, very good group of players to be able to get a point of view across. I'm not a dictatorial manager by any stretch of the imagination. I want feedback. I want the players to speak up. I think it's the modern day way, there's no doubt about it. You know, young players have got a point to prove, and they can only prove that point if you're on the same page as them. It's no use me being the guy that's been around the block a few times and then just ignoring, you know, the modern day way of playing. You know, I think everyone talks about the Pep Guardiola style of football, but there's so many managers and young managers adopting that style of play, and you've got to be able to cope with that. I think as near as damn it, we're adopting that style of play, but when push comes to shove, the physicality of the National League North, I think you've got to be able to step up to the plate to that, as well as, and I think in the majority of the times this season, I think, as I said, 33 games we've played this year, and we've got our fair share of wins, so we are adapting to life in the National League North, but we want to be in the National League next year. How do we get there? Beating Oxford on Sunday, that's a start.
When you go into a dressing room now after a game, is it very different to when you first started in management? Because even the limited level I played football at, you knew if you had a bad game, your manager was going to come in and someone was going to be pacing to the far wall. But can you not do that anymore so much?
Yes, you can still do it, but you've got to do it in a more appropriate way, shall we say. I think I'm a Catholic myself, you know, but without going against the Catholicism here, sometimes you were put up against the cross and that was it. It was coming at you full-blooded from managers who've been around the block a few times. I've had my fair share of outspoken managers and good managers and bad managers, indifferent managers, and you always take something from them, you know. And I just loved Bruce Rioch's style of management, where he never pulled any punches. He was honest, he was genuine, he was in your face if he needed to be in your face, and he was, you know, patting you on the back if you needed a pat on the back. I think that honesty these days is of paramount importance, but delivery is important. I'm not too sure whether Bruce could survive in today's game, but who knows? He was an intelligent guy, you know, and I'm looking at mentors, if you like, the likes of Sam Allardyce, and Sam adapted to the terrain. He adapted to the Premier League very, very well, having served his time in the lower leagues. And got his opportunity in the higher leagues and just believed in what he said. And I think the players at this football club can see a manager in front of them that actually, I believe in what I'm saying. I don't try and BS people. I think that's for losers, to tell you the truth, you know. It's for people who want to appear that they know that what they're talking about, but bottom line they don't. So I just think that genuine honesty to a group of players that sometimes I see them, you know, it's rabbits in a headlight when I see Phil Brown in front of them. I used to manage in the Premier League, but that's in the past. I don't hang my hat on that at all. I'm at Harriers, as I've said many times, and I'm proud of the fact that I'm at Harriers, and I'm quite pleased that I'm here because we're top of the league. You
mentioned in recent interviews you've been looking to try and add to the squads. Any news on that front?
Not really, and I'd like to, get it. I mean, the chief scout, Charlie Thompson, is working his trade off. It has to be said, and he's got lists of players, and we approach clubs, and the door isn't open, the door's closed, or the door's half ajar, and we've got players that are coming in on trial, and we're having a look at them. But in the main, when they normally come in on trial, it's normally because you haven't seen them. But that's not the case where we're concerned. But we do like to integrate them into the environment first and foremost, because I think that's the key to any success. I think any player that comes into our change room, one, they'll be delighted with the change room, the mentality of the group, and two, they'll be hopefully impressed by what they're hearing and what they're seeing. What I'm seeing on the training ground today, again at Droitwich on the AstroTurf, was a level of performance that they want to put Tuesday night to bed. And we need that tomorrow again, just with regards to the information and the detail that's going to get put to them about the opposition on Saturday. But we need 3 o'clock on Saturday, we need all guns blazing. Who knows? You're always in the lap of the gods to a certain extent, but I trust the players, and I think they will show enough pride in performance on Saturday to put to bed what happened on Tuesday.
In terms of any possible players coming in, I wondered if you were looking maybe at a striker for the simple reason that, taking nothing away from Maury Morgan-Smith and Ash Hemmings, who both scored goals this season, but I'm sure they'd agree with Ben Beresford at the side at the moment, long term.
Yeah.
They're probably both three admit they're the wrong side of 30, and there's a lot of games coming up. I just wondered if you were looking for cover there.
No, you've put the words into my mouth, I think, to a certain extent. But they're the first two people, if there was any criticism level at the change room, they're the first two people that get it, and they're thick-skinned. These guys know their way around a football pitch. They're very trustworthy characters, they're very honourable, and they desire to do well for Kidderminster Harriers. It's there for everybody to see. But multiple times we've said it to Morgan Smith, bring number 9 and he'll just come on and bring it on. They like that challenge and they embrace that kind of challenge, and that brings the better out of them. And then you've got a guy that's sitting on the bench, like a Ben Beresford if necessary, or Harry Ibbotson, or whoever we have brought in, that have come in to replace him, like Gold on my tail last season. And the battle brings the best out of the players that we've got at the football club. Competition it's got to be paramount importance to us, and we're asking the guys who run the football club, the ones who pay the bills, to back us, and they are backing us. It's got to be said. So the door's open there to another striker or two, to another centre half or two, or to another midfield player or two. It's open there. It's just bringing the right ones in.
Yeah, I was just thinking if either of those two got a knock, I was out for a few weeks, you could be looking a bit thin up there.
I'd be asking you if you played up front, Trev. And myself, I dusted myself down and had a little training session today. Far too old. But again, we've had that level of competition for places, and eyeballing one or two players that are on the touchlines at the moment. Come on, step up to the plate. Just because Amari's wearing the number 9 shirt and Emo's wearing the 10 and Maz is up top as well. Put pressure on these guys to either stay at that level or say if they drop down, I'm ready for you.
As regards injuries, generally, you come through pretty much unscathed the other night against Darlington?
We did, unscathed apart from the mindset and the heart to a certain extent because it hurts when you get beat by a team that's competing, that's been organised, and everyone deserves the right to win a game of football if you do it properly. But our preparation so far with regards to Saturday has gone okay. With regards to injuries, no fresh new injuries, and long may that continue.
Very last point, when you get to the top of the league, as you have done, somebody once said to me, it's very much about the top 3 inches, and it's the psychological bit really, because obviously you're there to be shot at. I was just thinking, you went into the Rushall game, you were in a great position. Obviously went into Darlington, you're in a great position. You don't want to make this a habit, do you really?
No, I'll get to the top and stay at the top. It's a good question, and it's a thought process that I've thought about long and hard about how competitive this division is, and it's a really exciting division. How tight is that at the top? It's phenomenal. If you enjoy your football at any level, you're going to get an entertaining game at this level, and then come and watch us. Whether that be an international break and the Premier League's resting players that are internationals and this, that, and the other. Honestly, you'll be entertained as. To a certain extent, I think the Kidderminster Harriers fans have probably been delighted at what we've churned out in terms of the quality of the football that we've been playing. But at the same time, when you get top of the league, as you say, that target becomes bigger, and you've got to be able to deal with it and cope with it. And me as a manager, exactly the same. But the club, in general, we have to understand that that's who we are and what we are, and wear it with pride. Don't shirk your responsibility. Wear it with pride. Wear it with a badge. We're number 1. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should feel, and not fearing it. If I've got players in that change room fearing it, I need to remove them quickly because it's going to be a roller coaster ride. There's no doubt about it from now to the end of the season.
Thank you.
We've mentioned Ben a few times, I know, since he's been kind of re-injured. I think maybe a couple of weeks ago you said Blues were thinking about sending him for another scanner. Has there been any further movement other than that? Because I know he's had to be very patient, and you're very keen to have him back. I
have to be patient, and we've asked Blues about the future, Ben's future, more than anything else. His contract's up at the end of the season. We witnessed what we witnessed in the 5-6 games that he's been here. There's a genuine lad there that he just wants to be out there and plying his trade. He's probably got ambition to play higher, which is brilliant. If he has, can we carry him? Can we take him to that level? Can he take us to that level? He's obviously got the ability, and he looks like he's got the credentials to play at a higher level, and that's the kind of striker we want. But at the same time, he's had 2 major injuries, that have kept him out for a long time. And we've had them conversations with Blues, and there's talk about another player possibly coming on loan and carrying the can from a financial perspective, which would be quite admirable of a team of that stature to be helping somebody like Kidderminster Harriers. So the conversations are wide open, Matty, and long may that continue. You know, we don't want to close the doors to the possibility of maybe a loanee from Villa, from Wolves, from Baggies. You know, Mogger's just come back in, a Baggies good friend of mine, and from Blues. So them conversations, I want them doors to remain open to see if there is any possibilities, because there's a lot of good young talent at them big clubs, and if we can get the benefit of that, then brilliant.